I'm about to tell you something that could save your life, and it's hiding in plain sight on every blood pressure reading you've ever taken at home. You bought that monitor. You pull it out every morning, maybe twice a day. You wrap the cuff around your arm, press the button, watch the numbers appear. And you're making mistakes, critical mistakes. Mistakes that could be giving you readings 20, 30, even 40 points off from your true blood pressure, which means your medication might be wrong, your risk assessment might be wrong, and the decisions you're making about your health might be dangerously wrong. I'm Dr. James Carter, and after 20 years as a cardiac surgeon, I've seen what happens when people trust inaccurate numbers. I've operated on hearts damaged by uncontrolled hypertension that nobody knew existed because home readings looked perfect. I've watched families devastated when someone collapsed from a stroke that could have been prevented if they'd known their real blood pressure. And I've held the hands of patients in ICU beds who whispered, "But my readings at home were always fine." Here's what terrifies me. Recent research from Johns Hopkins Medicine and the American Heart Association has revealed that the vast majority of people monitoring blood pressure at home are doing it wrong. Not slightly wrong, catastrophically wrong. And the worst part? These aren't complicated mistakes. They're simple positioning errors, timing mistakes, basic technique failures that anyone can fix once they know what to look for. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what those 11 mistakes are, why they're dangerous, and how to fix every single one of them. Because the difference between a correct reading and an incorrect one could literally be the difference between life and death. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 71, diligent about her health, took her blood pressure every single morning. Her readings at home averaged 135/82. Not perfect, but her doctor said it was acceptable for her age. Then one afternoon, Margaret collapsed in her kitchen. Massive stroke. When the paramedics arrived, her blood pressure was 198/105. In the hospital, we discovered her true blood pressure had been dangerously elevated for months, possibly years. But every home reading had been artificially low. Why? Because Margaret had been making 3 of the mistakes I'm about to show you. Simple mistakes, preventable mistakes, mistakes that cost her the ability to walk independently and speak clearly. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to walk you through all 11 mistakes, starting with the ones that create the biggest errors in your readings. Some of these will surprise you. Some will make you angry that nobody told you before. And at least one will make you get up right now and check something on your blood pressure monitor. Stay with me, because this information is critical. Mistake number 1. You're not emptying your bladder first. This sounds absurd, doesn't it? What does your bladder have to do with your blood pressure? Everything. Research published in the journal Hypertension found that bladder distension can elevate your blood pressure readings by 10 to 15 millimeters of mercury. That's enormous. Think about it. You wake up, shuffle to your kitchen, sit down to take your morning blood pressure before you've even gone to the bathroom. Your bladder is full from the night, and that internal pressure is artificially spiking your reading. The fix is simple. Use the bathroom first. Every single time. Before you take that reading, empty your bladder completely. This alone could drop your readings by 10 points or more if you've been making this mistake consistently. Mistake number 2. Your arm position is wrong. This is the mistake that creates the most dramatic errors, and new research from Johns Hopkins Medicine just confirmed how devastating it is. If your arm is hanging by your side during a blood pressure measurement, your reading can be up to 20 millimeters of mercury higher than your actual pressure. 20 points. That's the difference between normal blood pressure and stage 2 hypertension. If your arm is resting in your lap, it can add 6 to 10 points. If it's above heart level, propped up on the armrest, your reading will be falsely low. Here's the correct position, and I need you to memorize this. Your upper arm must be at heart level, not close to heart level, not approximately heart level, exactly at heart level. Your forearm should rest on a table or desk, supported and relaxed. Your palm should be facing up. The cuff should be positioned at the same height as the middle of your heart, which is roughly mid-chest level. If you need to adjust your chair height to achieve this, do it. If you need to place a pillow under your arm to bring it up to the right height, do it. This single correction could be the difference between an accurate reading and a reading that's dangerously off. Mistake number 3. You're using the wrong cuff size. Walk over to your blood pressure monitor right now and look at the cuff. Does it say standard or regular size? If it does, and if your arm circumference is anything other than average, your readings are wrong. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that using a regular cuff on people who needed a large or extra large cuff resulted in systolic readings that were artificially elevated by up to 20 millimeters of mercury. Using a cuff that's too large on a smaller arm can underestimate your pressure by 7 to 10 points. Here's how to know if your cuff fits correctly. The bladder inside the cuff, that's the inflatable part, should cover 80% of your upper arm circumference. When you wrap the cuff around your arm, the Velcro should attach in the middle of the range, not at the very beginning or very end. If you can barely get it to close, it's too small. If there's excess material hanging off after you secure it, it's too large. Most home monitors come with standard cuffs designed for arm circumferences between 9 and 13 inches. If your arm is larger or smaller, you need to purchase the correct size cuff. This isn't optional. A wrong-sized cuff makes your expensive, accurate blood pressure monitor completely useless. Mistake number 4. You're measuring through your clothing. I see this constantly. People roll up their sleeve, bunch it up around their upper arm, and place the cuff over the bunched fabric. Or they wear thick sweaters and place the cuff on top. Every layer of fabric between the cuff and your skin creates error. Research shows that measuring blood pressure through clothing can add 5 to 50 millimeters of mercury to your reading, depending on the thickness of the fabric. That thick winter sweater? It could be making your blood pressure look 30 points higher than it actually is. The cuff must go on bare skin. Always. Take your arm completely out of your sleeve if you need to. If you're wearing something you can't easily remove, you need to change clothes before taking your reading. I know this sounds inconvenient. I know it's easier to just roll up your sleeve. But if you want accurate numbers you can trust to make health decisions, you cannot measure through clothing. Mistake number 5. You're not resting before you measure. You wake up, you rush through your morning routine, you walk quickly to your blood pressure monitoring station, sit down, and immediately take a reading. That reading is worthless. Any physical activity, even walking from your bedroom to your kitchen, elevates your blood pressure temporarily. Studies show that failing to rest before measurement can artificially increase readings by 10 to 25 millimeters of mercury. The American Heart Association recommends sitting quietly for 5 full minutes before taking your blood pressure. Not 3 minutes, not about 5 minutes. 5 complete minutes. Set a timer if you need to. During those 5 minutes, don't talk, don't look at your phone, don't read. Just sit quietly, breathe normally, and let your cardiovascular system settle into its resting state. Only then will you get an accurate representation of your actual blood pressure. I tell my patients to think of this as meditation time. 5 minutes of stillness that could save your life. Mistake number 6. Your back and feet aren't supported. This mistake is invisible, which is why almost nobody corrects it. Research from the National Institutes of Health found that unsupported feet can raise your blood pressure reading by 6 to 10 millimeters of mercury. An unsupported back can add another 5 to 8 points. Combined, you're looking at readings that are 15 points higher than reality, just from how you're sitting. Here's the correct position. You need to sit in a chair with a firm back, not a stool, not a bench, not a couch where you're leaning back or slouched. Your back should be straight and supported against the chair back. Your feet must be flat on the floor, not dangling, not crossed, not tucked under you. Flat on the floor, both feet, parallel to each other. If you're shorter and your feet don't reach the floor comfortably, place a footstool or box under them. The goal is to create a stable, supported position where your body isn't working to hold itself up, because any muscle tension anywhere in your body will artificially elevate your reading. Mistake number 7. You're talking or moving during the measurement. The cuff inflates. Your spouse walks by and asks what you want for breakfast. You answer, "Congratulations, you just added 10 to 15 millimeters of mercury to your reading." Research consistently shows that talking during blood pressure measurement significantly elevates the numbers. So does moving, shifting position, or tensing any muscles. From the moment you press start until the reading appears on the screen, you must remain completely still and completely silent. Don't talk, don't fidget, don't adjust your position, don't scratch an itch, just breathe normally and stay still. If someone interrupts you, don't answer. If the phone rings, ignore it. If you absolutely must move or speak, stop the measurement, wait another 5 minutes, and start over. There are no shortcuts here. Movement equals error. Mistake number 8. You're not checking both arms. Here's something most people never do. Measure blood pressure in both arms. But here's what research shows. About 20% of people have a significant difference in blood pressure between their right and left arms. Sometimes the difference is 10 or even 20 points. If you're consistently measuring on the arm with the lower pressure and making treatment decisions based on those numbers, you're underestimating your cardiovascular risk. The first time you measure your blood pressure, measure both arms. Take 2 readings on your right arm, 2 minutes apart. Then take 2 readings on your left arm, 2 minutes apart. Average the readings for each arm separately. Whichever arm shows the higher average, that's the arm you should use for all future measurements. This is the arm that reflects your true cardiovascular pressure. Write it down, mark it on your calendar. Always use left arm or always use right arm, and stick to it. Mistake number 9. You're taking your blood pressure at random times. Blood pressure isn't constant. It fluctuates throughout the day, rising in the morning, dipping in the afternoon, rising again in early evening, and dropping during sleep. If you measure at 8 a.m. on Monday, 2 p.m. on Wednesday, and 10 a.m. on Friday, you're getting readings from completely different points in your circadian blood pressure curve. You can't compare them. You can't track trends. You're just collecting random numbers. For accurate tracking, measure your blood pressure at the same time every single day. Ideally, measure twice daily. Once in the morning within an hour of waking up, before breakfast and before taking any medications, and once in the evening before dinner. This gives you a comprehensive picture of your blood pressure pattern, and it gives your doctor meaningful data to work with. Consistency in timing is just as important as consistency in technique. Mistake number 10. You're only taking one reading. You press the button. The machine inflates, measures, displays a number. You write it down or tell your doctor. Done. Except that single reading might be an outlier. It might have caught you at a moment of slight tension or stress you weren't even aware of. Research shows that single blood pressure readings are notoriously unreliable. The American Heart Association recommends taking at least 2 readings, 2 minutes apart, and averaging them. Some experts recommend 3 readings, especially if the first 2 differ by more than 5 points. Here's my protocol, and it's what I recommend to all my patients. Take 3 readings, 2 minutes apart. Discard the first one. It's often artificially high because of anxiety or white coat effect, even at home. Average the second and third readings. That averages your blood pressure for that session. Yes, this takes more time. But if you're going to monitor your blood pressure at home, if you're going to make health decisions based on these numbers, you need to do it right. Mistake number 11. You're not recording your readings properly. You take your blood pressure. You glance at the number. Looks about the same as yesterday. You go about your day. A week later, your doctor asks, "How's your blood pressure been at home?" You say, "Pretty good, I think. Around 130 something usually." This is useless information. Without accurate records, you can't identify trends. You can't see if your blood pressure is creeping up over weeks or months. You can't assess whether medication changes are working. You're flying blind. Every reading must be recorded immediately, with the date, time, which arm you measured, and any relevant factors like stress, poor sleep, or having skipped medication. Many modern monitors store readings automatically, but I still recommend keeping a written log or using a blood pressure tracking app. Show this log to your doctor at every visit. This data is gold. It shows patterns that a single office reading can never reveal. It identifies white coat hypertension or masked hypertension. It shows medication effectiveness. Don't just take your blood pressure, document it. Now let me tell you about Robert. Robert was 68 when he came to see me, frustrated because his blood pressure was all over the place. Some days 145, some days 125, no pattern he could identify. I asked him to show me exactly how he took his blood pressure. Within 30 seconds, I'd identified 5 mistakes. He was sitting on a stool with no back support. His feet were crossed. His arm was resting in his lap. He was measuring through his rolled-up shirt sleeve. And he was taking only 1 reading at random times throughout the day. We fixed every mistake. I had him sit in a proper chair, back supported, feet flat on the floor. We made sure his arm was at exact heart level on his table. We had him remove his shirt before measuring. We established a routine. Measure twice daily, same times, 3 readings each session, after 5 minutes of rest. 1 month later, Robert came back with a notebook full of meticulously recorded readings. And guess what? His blood pressure wasn't all over the place. It was consistently around 132/78. Not perfect, but stable, predictable. and most importantly, accurate. We were able to adjust his medication based on real numbers. 6 months later, his blood pressure was 118/74, and he felt better than he had in years. This is what accurate home monitoring can do, but only if you do it right. Every one of these 11 mistakes matters. You can't skip the ones that seem inconvenient and expect accurate results. You can't do good enough when it comes to measuring the pressure inside your arteries. Because these numbers guide life or death decisions about medication, about lifestyle changes, about interventions that could prevent heart attacks and strokes. Here's what I want you to do right now. Get a piece of paper. Write down these 11 mistakes. Tomorrow morning, before you take your blood pressure, go through that list. Use the bathroom first. Remove your shirt. Sit in a proper chair with back support, feet flat on the floor. Position your arm at exact heart level on a table. Make sure your cuff is the right size and positioned correctly on your bare skin. Set a 5-minute timer and sit in complete silence. Then take 3 readings, 2 minutes apart. Record all 3 with the date and time. Average the second and third readings. That average is your blood pressure. Do this every morning. Do it every evening. Do it the same way, at the same times, with the same meticulous attention to detail. In 2 weeks, you'll have a log of 28 accurate readings. Take that log to your doctor. Say, "I've been monitoring my blood pressure correctly, and here are my numbers." That conversation will be completely different from saying, "I think my pressure's been okay at home." One more thing. Share this information. The person sitting next to you right now, the family member who monitors their blood pressure, the friend who's been diagnosed with hypertension, they need to know this. Because doctors don't always have time to explain every detail of proper technique. Nurses demonstrate it once, quickly, in a busy clinic. And patients go home and make these same 11 mistakes for years, thinking they're doing everything right. Your blood pressure is not a casual number. It's a direct measurement of the force damaging your arteries with every heartbeat. When that force is too high, it tears apart the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels, creating sites where plaque builds up, leading to heart attacks and strokes. When it's too low from over-medication because your home readings were artificially high, you risk falls, fainting, and inadequate blood flow to vital organs. Getting the number right matters more than almost anything else in preventive health. So measure it right. Fix these mistakes. Trust the numbers you get from proper technique, and use those numbers to have informed conversations with your doctor about your treatment plan. Because the time you spend ensuring accurate readings now could give you years, even decades of healthy life that you would have lost to preventable cardiovascular disease. Remember Margaret, who had the stroke because her readings were always artificially low. Remember Robert, whose pressure seemed erratic until he fixed his technique. Don't be Margaret, be Robert. Take control of your blood pressure monitoring, do it right, and give yourself the gift of accurate information that could save your life.